Hey everybody, welcome to American Idol Unaired. I am your host, Bennett Shear, and today we have another aired exception for you. What are aired exceptions, you might ask? Well, if you've been listening to this podcast, then you know that we've been talking to the singers that you didn't see on this season of American Idol. But we have also been talking to some of the singers that you did see because there has been some incredible talent on American Idol. And so today's aired exception is Carly Mickeal. Carly, welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We got to see you on this season of American Idol. We saw you in the auditions. You made it past the auditions into Hollywood Week. We did not get to see you in Hollywood Week, though. So this is kind of almost a combination of the unaired and aired exception segment. And, hopefully we'll get to hear about what happened in Hollywood Week from you.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that they had me in such a big audition slot. Like I feel like I got a lot of airtime for my audition and then I kind of just almost disappeared and it was like, what happened to her? So it kind of sucks, but it's whatever.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of us do remember you, Carly, from this season of Idol, but just to give us a refresher, because there are a lot of contestants, if you want to reintroduce yourself, kind of tell us your story and who you are, that'd be great.
As you guys know, I'm Carly Mickeal. That's my actual stage name. A lot of people think it's my last name, but that's actually my middle name. Mickeal is my middle name. So I just love my middle name, so I was like, I'm gonna go with that. I'm from Simi Valley, California. I am currently a dog groomer, as you probably saw in my audition. I've been doing that for about a year or so, maybe a little longer. And I grew up in Simi Valley. I've been singing my whole life. My dad's a musician, as you probably saw him in my audition. He played piano for me. Um, and yeah, I grew up singing. It's just always something that I've done. Actually, The Little Mermaid is kind of what inspired me to start singing because I would always sing like Part of Your World. And I would sing to all my family and everything. And I would always put on little shows and stuff. So that's kind of what, kind of started me singing in front of people. But yeah, I've just always been singing. It's just always been a part of me. It's kind of hard. I obviously would want to do it as a career, but it's just kind of hard to make it a reality. So American Idol kind of helped me in a way, gain a little bit more following and everything. But yeah, as of now, I'm just kind of posted on TikTok, Instagram with my singing, and then just dog grooming. So
Cool. Well, it's great to get that refresher and interesting to hear that perspective. Making a living and trying to pursue music, and American Idol is definitely a platform, and I think that it definitely benefits artists in that sense because no matter how far you make it, you have however many minutes of airtime, and more people know who you are.
yeah, I remember when I aired, I like wasn't on my phone because obviously I was watching the episode, but as soon as my audition aired, I like went onto my Instagram and it said like 100 plus followers. And I looked and I was gaining like it just every second. It was just like new follower, new comment, new like. And I was like, it was like overwhelming. I was like, okay, whoa, whoa. And then I checked
Wow.
my like messages and I just had so many like requested messages. And it was just like, it's like, oh my God, this is
Wow.
crazy.
Overwhelming, I'm sure. Did you try for the show yourself? Were you approached?
So I was actually scouted. So I was reached out to by Audrey, and she was like, "Hey, like I think you have a really good voice, and I was wondering if you would want to audition for American Idol." And I was like, "Absolutely." So then I had an audition. It was basically like kind of like a front of the line pass. So I auditioned in front of the judges. Everyone auditions, or in front of the producers that everyone auditions for once you get past a certain level. But it was just kind of like I got a front of the line pass. So like I got to go before everyone else. So I auditioned for, um, I think 2 rounds of like producers. And then they asked me to if I wanted to audition in front of like Lionel, Katie, and Luke, and I was like, absolutely. I was like, absolutely.
Was there a part of you, I mean, when you first heard from Audrey, did you like for a split second were you like, is this real? Is this really somebody from American Idol? Or were you all in like, okay, it's Idol, you know?
It was, yeah, it was weird because like I've auditioned for The Voice before and I've
Oh, okay.
auditioned for X Factor. So it's like I've been through it and I've obviously I didn't make it past the producers in the other rounds. So like I was kind of like a part of me was like, you know, if they say no, it's like okay, I've been through it. So when they said that, I was like, are you joking? I was like, is this real? But it was actually funny because I was auditioning. I was over Zoom, obviously, um, and I was in my parents' bathroom because they have good reverb in there. And it was like 6 hours. I was just sitting there, just like waiting in waiting rooms, like Zoom waiting rooms. So it was like a long time. And then I was with, I think she's like the head casting director of like the show, or I don't know what her position is, but she like has a big position in the show. And so I was auditioning in front of her. And so I sang a couple songs and they're like, "Oh yeah, we love your voice and everything." And then I started talking to them. They asked me like three main questions, like dog grooming, um, about my dad, and then I think the other one was mental health because I struggle with anxiety. So like there was like three main topics that they focused on. So then they were like, "Oh, is your dad home?" Because kept telling them that he's a musician, and I was like, "Right now? Like, is he home right now?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I was like, I think so." And they're like, "Can he play piano? Do you guys have a piano? Like, can you play? Can he play and you sing?" And I was like, "Okay, this is a little like they caught me off guard here." So I like called my dad real quick, and he's like out in his office, and I was like, "Dad, like they want you to like play piano, like while I sing, like they're right here on Zoom." And he's like, "What?" And he goes on a bike ride every morning, so he was like still in his like bike gear, and like he was not prepared at all. He like just got home, and so he like I like walk my laptop out of my parents' bathroom, and I'm like, "Here's a house tour if you guys want to see." Like I was like just joking around, but I like had to walk my computer out to the piano, and then I like set it down, and my dad was like, "Hey guys," and so we just like on the spot just like sang a song, and it was I don't know, it was really cool, but it was also like they definitely caught me off guard there. And like I could tell they were trying to like throw a curveball and see how I would react. Um, but yeah, I thought that was just a little funny little story about my auditions with the producers because they definitely caught me by surprise there.
Wow. I'm sure. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, obviously, we did end up seeing you with your dad on the show, so I'm sure they wanted to see what that
Yeah,
dynamic would have been like as well. In addition to throwing
yeah,
you a curveball, because that's certainly, I guess, one thing that is different about Idol Across America, or in your case, even just you got a fast pass, but doing the Zoom auditions, there's all kinds of twists that they can throw at you that you wouldn't have if
yeah.
you were, say, in line at a big cattle call.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was crazy, and my dad was like, he was a good sport about it, but it was just, it was funny because my dad is just, I don't know, he's a funny guy.
What were some of your song choices? I know you mentioned you sang multiple songs throughout, even just the Zoom auditions.
Yeah. Oh shoot. What did I sing? I sang. What was my main one? I think I sang. We don't have to take our clothes off by Ellie. Well, I don't know how to say her last name. Ellie Ira, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
I think I also played my guitar. And I think I sang a Lumineers song. And then Valerie by Amy Winehouse. It
Cool.
was like that was like my three choices for the producer round. And then for the actual audition round, I was so stressed out. I was like, what song do I sing? Because it's like there's so many like song choice is everything for American Idol, and that's even what the judges say. Like song choice is everything. And so I had that in mind, and I was like, what the heck do I pick? Um, and so I kept just going through YouTube, like hitting karaoke songs, and I would like sing that, and then I'd like, because obviously my family like hears me all the time because I'm always just in my room singing, but I would be like, I'd yell to them and be like, what about that one? And they'd be like, nah. So it was just a cycle of like trying to figure out what song would best suit my voice. So for the audition, I always loved Your Song by Elton John. I just love that song. So I was like, what if I did this, but I like made it higher? So like, or I think I forget which key we did it in. But I was like, we could change the key so that it fits my voice better. And so then my dad kind of helped me out. He was playing piano, and then I was like, okay, I like that one. Um, and then I think I also had, I forget which other song that I had prepared. Oh, My Church. I had that one. And that's the
Mm,
one that I sang at Showstoppers. So I had that one prepared for my second song if they asked me for auditions. So
nice. Finding out after all of that, just in the Zoom audition process that you were going to make it to the judges, obviously excited, I'm sure is an understatement, but I mean, I'm sure that all these thoughts are going in your head about like, wow, I could actually be on the show. Like, you probably start thinking, oh, how far am I going to go? And obviously what song am I going to pick? But I mean, what are you thinking when you find out that you're going to be going to audition in front of the judges?
Um, it was insane. I was like I said, I was like, is this real? Like I
Yeah.
was like, that's crazy. And then a part of me, like my stomach kind of dropped, and I was like, wait, now I have to sing in front of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, the day's gonna come where I'm gonna be singing in front of these like huge artists. So there was like a part of me who was like super excited. I was like, oh my God, this is like everything I've dreamed of. Like this is like the chance to like kickstart my career and everything. And then the other part of me was like, oh my God, like so nervous. So it's definitely it was like a whole tornado of emotions
Right.
when they said like when they invited me. But of course I was like, yeah, I have to do it. I think you don't even realize how much goes into it until you're actually there doing it. Because it's not what I expected at all. Like going into it, I honestly didn't really know what to expect. But then once I was there and doing it, it was just a completely different experience. Like you don't realize how much is put into a TV show like that. And just like the amount of waiting, the amount of filming you have to do, the different they call you to so many different I don't even they called it such weird things too, like the filming. Like you're going to digitals, you're going to confessions or confessionals, you're going to like the 180 room. Like so it's like you like didn't even know where you're heading until you went there. Yeah, it's just it was crazy how much filming and everything that you do.
And I take it you were in LA for the judges auditions.
Yes.
And as you said, a lot of waiting. Do you remember which day that you auditioned for them?
I was day 3 out of the 4 days of auditions in LA.
So for that waiting period, are you enjoying talking to people? Is it overwhelming, just like wanting to get the audition over with? How are you feeling?
So it was actually nice having everyone to talk to, and then so you have like before auditions, you have a day 0,
Right.
which is basically just they're getting interviews done, they're getting the confessionals done, the digitals. So it was just a day of no auditions. It was just like getting filming done. So that was a day where it was just like sitting around a lot. And so I got to meet new friends, I got to talk to everyone, and that kind of it kind of made me less nervous getting to talk to everyone because it's like we're all here doing the same thing, and you kind of got to feed off of everyone's like emotions and get to talk to how everyone else is feeling and all of that. So when it came time for the auditions, you almost were like, okay, let's just get it over with. I'm like tired of just waiting. But it was also like I don't know. To me, I felt more calm after being there and like talking to everyone. I don't know. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was gonna be, like going in. I honestly feel like I became like a different person. Like even
Mm.
um my mom who came with me, she was like, you were talking to everyone, like everyone knew who you were. They were like you were walking around the hotel being like, hey. And like I'm like, I don't know, I'm pretty quiet when it comes to new people. Until you get to know me, then I'm like really, really weird and loud. Um so like it was I don't know, it was weird. I just like became so outgoing and I was like talking to everyone and I was like, "Oh, how are you doing?" Like all this stuff, making everyone laugh. So yeah, it definitely brought down my nerves and I just kind of felt like I like I said, I felt like I was like a different person. So it was that kind of helped with the nerves because I was like, just go in and do it, you know? So
Sure. And how did you like the interview process with confessionals and digitals and everything that basically that wasn't singing and why you were at American Idol in the first place?
it was really fun. It was fun to just like, because you obviously feel like you're like a famous person because they're
Yeah.
like, okay, sit right here, and they're all the attention's on you, the camera's on you, um, and then all of the producers are so nice. Like they're just we made friends with a lot of them because they were just so nice and chill, and they made you feel really good when you're sitting there and like answering questions. They made it really easy. So it was, yeah, it was really fun because I was like, "Ugh, I'm the star of the show, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Um, so I loved it, and like even like the digitals, I was like, like I was like getting my picture taken, and they're like, "What's your favorite song at the moment?" They're like, "We could play it," and then they like played it while you were like taking pictures, so that was kind of fun too. They made it really fun.
Uh-huh. I imagine that as much filming as you're doing, as much filming as they have to do for every single contestant, it's like you do feel like a star and you almost feel like you are the American Idol because even if you don't get aired or you only get aired for a little bit, it's like they spend so much time with each and every one of you to get just like hours of footage.
Yeah, I can't even like imagine the person who has to go through all of that because it's like there's so many people there and every person gets the same amount of interviews, digitals, all of that stuff. So it's like that would be very overwhelming.
Oh
It's
yeah.
great.
Well, when it was time for you to audition all those days later, and you walked into the judges' room, how are you feeling?
Um, so I was very nervous, but not as nervous as I thought I was going to be, like I said. Um, but it was kind of abrupt because I'm sitting there waiting for the girl to come out who went in before me. She was the first one of the day, and then I was second. Um, so she went in. We were just waiting. So I was like, oh my God, I'm next. So I'm sitting there. Me and my dad and my mom were actually there too. We're sitting there and like we're getting all amped up. My dad was giving me a pep talk. They had us do like interviews before, like standing there, kind of asking us questions, how we're feeling, all this stuff. And then we see the girl come out. She has her golden ticket, and I was like wanting to congratulate her, but they're obviously filming her reaction and everything. And then all of a sudden they're like, Carly, go, go. And I was like, what? And they're like, go, get in there. And so like we had to like run by and run through the door. And like, so it just like took me by surprise. I didn't think they were gonna go that fast, you know? Um, and then like there was like a room you had to like walk through before like the judge's room. So I was like kind of like looking around and I was like, am I going the right way? And then as soon as I walk in, I'm like, okay, I gotta be on. So I walk in, I put on my personality, you know. Um, but it was very overwhelming. And then even in the room, it like felt like I was like in a dream because it was so bright. Like it was just so much light on you, and then everything kind of felt, I don't know, it just felt like how a dream feels. And then they're sitting there kind of far away from you, like not super far. Um, but just like looking at them, you're like, are you real? You know, because it's like you're looking at them, it's so bright, there's always cameras at you, so they kind of like aren't really in focus. But it was just, yeah, it was crazy. That's all I can say. It's just crazy.
Now, obviously, we got to see your audition, but I'm wondering because I'm sure you went and watched it back and you're waiting to figure out which episode it aired. Luckily, we did see the audition, but from what you can remember, do you remember anything that we may not have seen as far as them cutting out parts of your audition? Because I'm sure you're probably in the room longer than whatever we saw on TV.
Yeah, it was just I feel like they didn't really cut out much. I think it was just the order of events that it happened.
Okay.
So they kind of cut together parts that were like in real time. It was like a different um like response. Like when my dad like gave a thumbs up, that was actually like after we left, like right before we were leaving, instead of when Lionel was like talking to me about I forget, like when he was giving me feedback, they like cut to a shot of my dad like giving a thumbs up and smiling. But that was actually like when we were about to leave. Lionel actually like he said it's a yes for me, Dad. Which my dad absolutely fangirled so hard about that because he loves Lionel Richie. So Lionel said it's a yes for me, Dad, and my dad like gave him a thumbs up. So it was kind of weird seeing how they edited it. But they don't. I don't think they really took out much. Um, so they kind of just pieced it all together. Obviously, they didn't put in all of the dialogue, but they edited it differently.
Yeah. I'm sure having your dad there with you, I'm guessing, provided a lot of comfort, even though it was still possibly terrifying with all the lights and cameras, but having him there, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it was definitely was less nerve-wracking because obviously if everyone else had an accompanist there with them. And so my dad, I've been singing with him for, my whole life. So he knows how I sing. He knows how to follow me and everything. So that was kind of it was nice to have that because I was like, okay, he knows me. If I mess up a little bit, he'll follow me. And he even said that before. He was like, I got you. Like, don't worry. So it was just nice having that. And then I also said like I was like, okay, I can look at him if I like get anxious at all. But I don't even remember looking at him at all. um, it was just like, yeah, but it was nice having him there for sure. Um, yeah, it was a cool experience. I'm glad I got to experience it with him because even he said he had so much fun in there. He's like, I wish we could stay in there longer. Like that's
Uh,
literally what he said.
yeah.
So he had a lot of fun too.
We're kind of, I guess, moving into more of what, listeners would get from an episode of American Idol Unaired, the singers you didn't see, because unfortunately, getting into Hollywood Week, we didn't really get to see you anymore. So now I'm kind of interested in what happened after the audition. And when you arrived at Hollywood Week, obviously being from California, it probably wasn't like a huge, a lot of contestants, they travel from across the country and they're arriving at LAX. I'm sure it was just like, oh, let me drive up to the theater. But what was it like the first day that you got there?
So first day we got there, it was kind of scary because I had to go by myself this time before we were able to bring a guest. So I brought my mom, who's like my rock. So I was like, Mom, I need you. Um, but yeah, I wasn't able to bring her. So I drove there. It's only like a 45-minute drive, which is nice. And then so the first day we got to the hotel. We stayed at a hotel in downtown LA. It was called the Intercontinental. Super nice hotel. So we get there, we have to like do all the check-in stuff. They give you like when you're performing for the genre round, like they give you like the line and then everything. And they kind of the first day is just kind of you check in and then you get COVID tested, and then they said it's just you kind of just chill the rest of the day, and then you have like the next day is like was like day zero again, just kind of filming interviews, doing digitals. But that first day, it's always just kind of chill. You just go, you can hang out, talk to people, um, and then yeah, that's all I really remember is it was just a chill day. I remember I went and got food, and then once my COVID test came back, I think they had us come in and then that's I think when they gave us like our line number and everything for the genre. And then even on the day of the genre that I was like gonna perform, we were line 18, so we were still like kind of far back in the order. So yeah, it was like a lot.
Wow. Any standouts? I mean, gosh, I don't know how you would remember. There's so many, but are there anything? And does anything come to mind as far as performances that were standouts? Because you saw so many.
Yeah. I just remember all the minors went first,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because they were like line one for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. I think it's just because they were all minors. But I just remember them all being so good. Like they would just come out one after the other, and they were so good. And we're like, oh my God, like these are all under 18. So I just remember we were all shocked. We were like, oh my God. And then
Wow.
they were the first people to go too. So it's like, how are we going to compete with that?
Yeah.
Um, So I remember them being like really stand out. And then I remember Nicolina, she just blew everyone away. And it was so good. We were like, oh my God. There was just the talent was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just everyone was going up and we're like, how are they gonna send people home? Because it's like every single person was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was nerve wracking, especially standing in the line and then they're like, step forward. And I'm like, oh no. Am I going home or am I staying? So yeah, it was definitely very nerve wracking. And then they make it, the way they word it is just so like, because they make it sound like you're going home.
Yeah.
Like when I stepped forward and then I was in line with like whoever else was in line with me, they're like, well, you guys aren't, like, I forget what he said, but he's like, um, your journey ends here or something. And then he's like, because you're going to the next round or something like that. Like
Yeah.
something stupid like that, where it was like they make it sound like you're going home, but then they're like, JK, you're actually going through. So then you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And they did that for every single line too. So it was, yeah, it was like, why do
Wow.
they do this?
I know it's torture. And then on the same night that you finish performing, they pair you up with your duet partner. Who's your duet partner?
So I had Emerson Flora.
Uh-huh.
So we were paired up together, and she's amazing, and I loved that I had her as a duet partner. She's so we still keep in touch and everything, which is really cool. But yeah, I had Emerson. So
What song did you guys choose?
we sang "Never Enough" from The Greatest Showman.
Cool. I don't, is that, I wonder, I'm not sure if any of the other air duets, if they showed that song. Because I know that multiple people would sing the same song because you guys had a select list of songs, but I don't think we heard Never Enough from anybody that aired.
Mm-mm. So I think only one or two other people did that song. Two other groups did that song. So there wasn't many people who chose that song.
And how did you find the process of going through vocal coaching, rehearsing? And I'm sure that's, it's a long night as well because it's all in one night. They pack it in.
Yeah, so it was kind of stressful because they took us back to the hotel and we immediately went, we had to put our stuff down. We immediately went up to like upstairs from where the on-call holding room was. And they said, go figure out which song you want to do, start rehearsing it, and then when you're ready, go into a vocal coach room and um, work with the vocal coach, and then that's your song choice. You're not allowed to change it after you go with the vocal coach. So we didn't know that once you go with the vocal coach, you can't change your song. So we kind of went in not really prepared with how we're going to lay out the song, where we were going to do harmonies, like who was singing what. So we kind of went into the room, and they were like, oh, you can't change your song now. And like, we had to like, once we were done with the vocal coach, we started just rehearsing and rehearsing. And it's like, after a while, you like had all day that you were like talking and singing and all this. And then you had to go, and sing until like midnight, 1 a.m. So it was very hard vocally. And then also you're just so tired from the day of just sitting and listening to everyone, even just like the adrenaline of you singing yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot. And then I actually got so Emerson, since she's a minor, they can't film minors past 10 o'clock p.m.
Right.
So when we got back to the hotel, I think it was already like 9:30. Um, so we weren't allowed to be filmed after 10. So we kind of just said like, okay, why don't we just go downstairs into the holding room? We could go change, we could go shower, we could get some food because we were literally all starving. We hadn't eaten. So we like kind of checked out with Patrick. He's like the main guy. So we kind of checked out with him. We're like, we got it. We're ready. We kind of just like lied a little bit just so we could go get food. So then we went, so we left like where they were filming everyone, since we weren't allowed to be filmed. I was allowed to be filmed, but she wasn't allowed to be filmed. So we kind of left and we like went and changed into sweats and everything. And then, and then we got some food, and then we just kind of rehearsed in the on-call holding room. So it was kind of nice because it was more chill. We didn't have to worry about cameras being on us, and we could just do our thing. So it was kind of nice having a minor as a partner.
Yeah, definitely. And then the next day when you perform, that's all done in one day. So it's still a long day, but they film all the duets, and I think if I'm correct, it's about 40 duets. So at what point in the day around do you think you guys performed?
So we were pretty early in the day. When you first get to the theater, they do a lot of like there's like a an on camera holding room, where they like that's where we're all in those chairs that you see. We're all sitting waiting to go perform. So we're there for I want to say a good 3 to 4 hours, just kind of waiting. I remember I took a nap upstairs, like on the floor, because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And so you kind of just wait around, and then once like all the camera crew and stuff and the judges get there and they're all ready, that's when they kind of take us all into the actual theater. I think me and Emerson were, I want to say, we were like the ninth to go, the ninth duet to go. So we didn't have to wait too long. And then they called us and they're like, "Okay, you guys are on." And then we go backstage. And then we went and performed. So
And how did that go?
we killed it. Not to toot our own horns, but we absolutely killed it. I posted it on my Instagram. I have like Jenna's mom actually like filmed up where the parents were. So she has like a little recording of it, so I posted it. If you want to go watch it.
Yes.
But yeah, we did really good. Especially for the amount of time that we had to rehearse it, and especially it being such a hard song to sing. I think we did really, really good. And I wish they aired it because I don't know, you know.
Yeah. What were the judges' comments?
So they loved it. I remember them saying how we both had really good tone, and that our harmonies sounded like we've been singing together for like a really long time, and like it sounded like we just had like a really good connection, and our voices just flowed really good together. So we got a lot of good feedback, which was nice. And they almost made it seem like I wasn't going to go through, but
Hmm.
Emerson was, because they kept talking. Katie was saying how like Emerson reminded her a lot of Billie Eilish, and like how her tone was amazing and all this stuff. And then they're like, "And you're going through, Emerson." And then I think it was Lionel who was like, "And Carly," and I was like, "Just give it to me, just tell me." And then he was like, "You are also going through," and I was like,
Oh my
"Yes."
gosh.
I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, nailed it.
So yeah, it was definitely an experience with the duets round.
And then you guys go and sit in the audience, yeah, for the rest of the day?
Yeah. And then I think they pull you out for like lunch and stuff. So there's some people you don't get to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's also like interviews you go do and stuff. So, but for
Right.
the majority of the time, you're sitting listening to everyone.
Any standout performances from the duets that you watched?
Um, yeah, Nicolina and Christian were literally ridiculous. They were so good. Um, Yoli and Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
they put on a whole damn show. Like it was literally like Broadway. I think they aired a little bit of that. That was like like the standout duets that like really were like wow.
You get a little break between that and filming Showstoppers, yeah?
Yeah, so we had 2 days after Showstoppers, I think, before Showstoppers. So the next day, like we still had to be there at like 7 a.m., but we
Mm-hmm.
just had like rehearsals. So we got down after duets. We had to be there at 7 a.m. the next, or I think yeah, 7 a.m. the next morning. Um, and then they just call you up to do rehearsals for your showstopper round. And then once you do rehearsals, you can kind of check out and just have the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually came home. I don't know if I was supposed to do that, but I live so close. I
Yeah.
like drove home. And then I just went the night. I think I came home and took a nap in my bed. I came and saw my dog, and then Um, I like went back that night, so it was nice. I got a
Cool.
little bit of extra treatment because I was able to go home.
Yeah. So, how did you feel about knowing that you were going to be performing in front of an audience for the first time on the show?
I wasn't too nervous. I mean, I've done it before.
Right.
Um, so I feel like I feed off of the energy of an audience. And to be honest, it's a lot less nerve-wracking to perform in front of a lot of people with lights on you, where you can't really
Hmm.
see an audience. Where, and hold on, sorry, I can't talk. It's a lot less nerve-wracking to do it in front of like an audience, as opposed to three judges who have lights shining on them and they're staring directly at you. Um, like it's a lot less nerve wracking to do it like that. So yeah, I was excited for this round, um, going into it.
So it's like you guys are more in your element, at least for, I mean, most of you, I'm sure, had been used to performing a lot. And so having that crowd and having the judges sort of away from you guys in the balcony was something that almost may have given you guys a little bit of an edge for this round.
Yeah, because yeah, most of the people who were like going through to showstoppers, a lot of them do gigs on the side, like, and they're used to it. There's a few exceptions who like have never performed in front of an audience. But yeah, we all were like used to
Right.
audiences and stuff. Yeah,
And what song did you sing this round?
I sang "My Church" by Maren Morris.
Right. So I know you mentioned that song earlier when we were talking about song selections. And how did you feel that this performance went?
So I think I did. I liked my performance. I wouldn't say loved it, but I liked my performance. I think I did good. I was very engaged with the audience, and I think the audience was having fun. And that's kind of why I chose that song, is because it's like it's an upbeat, it's a fun song that the audience can kind of clap to, can kind of sing along if they know it. So that's why I chose that song, because I thought it would be fun to kind of show my personality more.
Hmm.
Because the past two songs I did were kind of more ballady, um, slower songs, but they showed my voice more. But looking back, I definitely would have chose a different song, something that kind of showcased my voice better. Um, but I think I did good overall. But I kind of knew going into it that I don't think it was top 24 worthy. Um, I don't know. That was just my, like, I obviously was hoping. I was like, because the audience was like loving it,
Yeah.
and everything. So, but I don't know. Compared to um, the other performances, I think it just wasn't a good song choice.
I just remembered, I don't know if I had asked you what your genre challenge song choice was.
Oh, I sang "Turning Tables" by Adele.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah,
So,
and that one's
yeah.
also on my Instagram too.
I'll definitely check that out, and everybody can check that out because I think it's definitely interesting hearing about sort of the lost sort of. I mean, I guess there is some of that footage on your Instagram, but is it a bummer knowing that it's not out there, especially after people can find the audition on YouTube, but then it's like, what else is there to see?
Yeah, and I wish they would give you like a copy to
Yeah,
like be able to post and stuff, because it's like I was there obviously, and I know how it was, but it would be nice to like look back at it, because when you're performing, it's kind of like you have so much adrenaline that you almost like black out,
yeah,
and it's like you don't really remember. It's like, oh, how did I even sound? Um, but my family was in the audience, so they were like, "You sounded so good, like you killed it." Um, but it's like I wish I could like go have something to go back to and like be like, "Oh yeah, that did sound good,"
yeah.
you know.
Uh-huh. Um, I think if I'm correct, there was another break between Showstopper filming and Green Mile filming. Of course, that would have been the last round that you filmed, but I'm guessing, did you get another little break to go home, or were you just chilling?
So actually, the night after Showstoppers, they like throughout the performance, the first couple people, or the first like people to go, once they were done, they actually sent them on a bus back to the hotel to get all their stuff together, and then they were taking us on a bus from LA to Westlake.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually had to change hotels that night. And then since I drove myself, I was one of the later people to go for in like the showstopper performance. So we had to wait on the bus for a while until like one of the last people were going. But it was kind of nice because I got to see my family and everything. Like right after my performance, they like came out and I was still on the bus, so I like walked out the bus and I was like, "Hey guys."
Yeah.
But yeah, so then they bussed us back to the hotel that we were staying at. We had to get all our stuff together, and then I think they gave us like 30 minutes to get all of our stuff together, packed up, and check out. And then we had to meet back to get on another bus. But since I drove myself, I just went in my own car, which was kind of nice too, because I like stopped to get food and like all that stuff. And then we got to the hotel at in Westlake. But
Mm-hmm.
we didn't really have a break because the next day we had to be up and we had to be in Malibu at
Mm-hmm.
like 6 a.m.
Looked like a beautiful venue, by the way, wherever they had the judges telling you whether or not you made it to the 24.
Yeah, it was at Calamigos Ranch, which is it's so pretty. It's so pretty over there. But it was cold. Let me tell you, it was so cold. They literally wanted us to have hypothermia, I think, because everywhere we went, we were all freezing. Even in the theater, like the Orpheum, we were so cold. We were like all like bundled up. They had like pillows and stuff on the couches, and we were like putting the pillows on us because we were just so cold. Um, but yeah, the first morning at Malibu, we had to be there at um, like 7 a.m. So I like went to Target the night after, and I like bought gloves and a scarf because it was that cold.
Wow.
And so like, I was like prepared. I was like, I have my scarf and everything. But it was kind of pointless that we got there that early because it was we got there, we ate breakfast in the freezing cold. We were all shivering. And then we kind of because they were just doing like more interviews that day, and then so we had 2 days of filming the Green Mile. So the first day we just had interviews, taking pictures again. Um, but yeah, it was just a lot of waiting around those days. And then the next day was the final results. So
Got it. And around what time did you find out during that day whether or not you'd be making it?
I don't remember the exact time. I know it was I think it was closer to like 3, 4 o'clock. Um, because I didn't get home super late, I remember.
Now, obviously, you had seen many contestants before you, I assume, go through, not go through. When that happened, would they have to stay to be on camera or would they get to leave once they found out their results?
So once they found out the results, you'd walk through everyone and then you'd go to a final interview, just kind of asking, they would ask you like how you're feeling, what did they say, what are you going to do from here, that kind of thing. And then they film you like kind of walking off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you go back, and then they make you get on a bus. You kind of check out with the producers and then they make you get on a bus. There was like, it was kind of sad because there was like a no bus and then there was a yes bus.
Wow.
So like,
That's,
you're in the no bus.
oh my
And I'm like,
God.
okay.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is the loser bus. So I thought that was kind of funny because like everyone was so sad, everyone was crying, and then you see the people walking to the yes bus, and they're all like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
I'm in the no bus.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The loser bus. Get in, loser. We're not going to American Idol.
Exactly.
Well, so I know you mentioned that your showstopper performance may not have been, in your mind, your best performance, but if you think about it at this point, the judges are taking everything into consideration. You've had several performances at this point. How were you feeling? Did you think that day, like, maybe I am gonna make it? Were you going back and forth?
It was definitely back and forth because as I was sitting there, people were coming out and they're like, "No, I didn't make it." And we were all shocked at like some of the people who came out and they're like, "No, we didn't make it," and we were like, "We literally thought you were gonna win the whole show. Like, why didn't you make it?" So that's kind of when I started going back and forth. I was like, I could, but then like I also couldn't. So it was definitely a back and forth kind of thing for me.
Uh-huh. You walk in that room, you see Lionel, Luke, and Katie. I want to hear about the conversation and what they said to you.
So the conversation, honestly, they didn't say much to me. I kind of sat down. Um, Lionel was really the only one who talked. Um, he didn't say I did anything wrong. He basically said like they just have to get rid of talent, and I was one of them. That's literally the only thing I like really remember. He's
Mm.
like, we have to get rid of talent, and unfortunately, you're not in the top 24. And I was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure about that? Are you sure about the decision? No, but I was just like, okay, I think I thanked them. I was like thank you so much for like letting me come this far and everything. And then I remember Katie saying, "Don't go back to dog grooming because my voice is amazing." She's like, "Don't go back." And I remember telling her, I was like, "Katie, I think I might because I need money." I
Uh,
was like, "I might do that, Katie." And then yeah, so they didn't really say much. So
hmm
that was kind of it was kind of like I don't know, it was like disheartening to kind of not have anything to go off of why I got off. So it was like, why did I get off compared to other people, you know? Because they said I didn't do anything wrong, so it's like, why are you sending me home, you know?
hmm
Um, yeah, I just wish I had some sort of feedback to be like, okay, that's why, that's the reason. But they
hmm
didn't really give me a reason, which kind of sucked.
Did you? I mean, it's been it's been several months now. I don't know if this is more of a thing that would happen right after you get off or over time, but have you spent time reflecting over why they might have cut you, or do you kind of just accept it and think, well, you can't really dwell on it too much?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really dwell on it because I know a lot of people kind of put their whole like all their eggs in one basket with American Idol. And it was like they kind of had the mindset, a lot of people had the mindset of like, if I don't make it, this is the end of the world. Where for me, I was like, I'm just happy to be here,
Yeah.
like for this long. So that was kind of my mindset going into it. So when they said no, I was kind of like, it was just, I was just grateful that I got that far. And I was like, this experience I'll remember for the rest of my life. So to me, I was more of like, it was like more of a positive reaction. And then I did kind of dwell a little bit. It all came back down to the song choice. And I feel like the song, because even like my sisters who came and performed, they're like, you probably should have did a different song. Like it was good, but like just compared to the other people, I should have just picked a different song. Um, so yeah, but I don't really dwell on it. It's like it is what it is, you know? And like to even go that far, I'm just like super proud of myself. And that's what I
Yeah.
just keep telling myself, is that I made it into like the top 50. So it's like, you know, um, so yeah, that was just kind of my mindset on the whole thing. It was just kind of like, you know, whatever.
Whatever. It's no.
Yeah.
I wonder if you had like any final thoughts about just like your time on the show, and again, it has been a long time now, so I'm sure that you've been doing so much since then. You've got other stuff in the works, but as you sit here and you think about American Idol, what do you think about your time and maybe what you learned or what you took away from it?
I definitely it definitely shows you that how that business is. It's very go go go. It's very in your face, with cameras, people telling you what to do. So you get kind of a glimpse of like how that lifestyle would be. Like I need you here at this time. I need you here at this time. Like oh we need you over here. So like looking back, I'm like I don't know if I could handle that. So that's like one thing I learned is like being in that industry, it'd be a lot. And like you definitely have to have the right personality for it. And I think I would be able to handle it and I think I do have the personality for it, but it's like it's definitely a decision you have to make like is this what I want to go into, you know? Because it's like do I want to be constantly in the eye of a camera um and in front of the public eye and stuff. So that was kind of what I learned. And then also just the friends I met. I'm just like so grateful for the people. That was like the main thing um, that I loved about the experience was just the people that I met. And it was just so fun. Um, like besides all of the being cold and like the waiting around and the sleepless nights, it was just fun. Like it almost felt like we were like at a summer camp.
Yeah.
And just like meeting new friends, singing, and everyone is so talented. So, um, like all of my friends that I've had in my life aren't musical. So like I never really had anyone to like just whip out a guitar and just start harmonizing with. So it was kind of cool to like have people who I could just be like, oh, do you know this song? Let's start singing it. So that was really cool. Yeah, it was just a fun experience, and I'm so glad I did it, and I'm so glad I met the people that I met, and I went as far as I went. Like I'm just so grateful for the whole experience.
Yeah, no, I mean, not many people, as many seasons as that show has been on, in the scheme of things, not many people can say they made it on American Idol. They really can't. I mean, it's just, it is extraordinary when you think about it, and it's a bond that all of you guys who did it will have for life. And it's really interesting what you said about the industry, because obviously you love music, you love singing, and I highly doubt that you'd ever stop singing, but maybe it's about finding ways to pursue music without it necessarily being in a flashy way where it's Hollywood that's, driving your career. And who knows? I guess the future could be
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, and it's definitely like I know it's a singing show, but it's like you can definitely see that it's really not about music. Like it is, but it's more about a lot of other things that go into it, you know? So it is about the music, but it's also about the look. It's about the judges. It's about, like the choreography of everything, and everything. So it's like, I don't know. And I feel like that's how a lot of the industry is today. It's not really more about music. It's more about like putting on a show.
I think that people are going to really appreciate that they got a glimpse into who you are, Carly, because, obviously your time was cut short as far as what we saw, but, you
Mhm.
really had a very, thorough, timely experience with the show that we didn't get to see. And I think that there's a lot of really exciting things that are next for you. And so I would love if you want to talk about, what the future looks like and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, so I've been working with a few people to just kind of writing music and stuff. Um, and then I'm gonna hopefully start doing some gigs. Um, I basically just want to like put out more original music, and that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I want to start doing some gigs and stuff, putting out original music. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much like it. Um, and then I don't know. I'm still kind of deciding whether I want. Like I think I'll always sing, like you said. Like I'll. It's because it's a part of me. Um, but like whether I want to do that as a career, it's definitely after American Idol. It's kind of you know given me a bigger picture of how it would be as a career. So I don't know. I'm just living. You
You're
know.
just living. Life is doing what it's supposed to. So if that's
Yeah.
your path, then that's your path.
And yeah, and that's okay too, because it's like my dad, he's an editor, but then he does gigs on the side, and he has so much fun doing it, and everyone loves him. They come every week to see him. So it's like it's not like he's like this huge famous person, but he still finds a way to do music, and he still incorporates it in his life. So it's like that's okay too. And I feel like that's what you have to like realize is you don't have to be this big star to like get your music out there and like show people your voice.
And the most important thing is that you're happy. That's what matters at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Oh yeah, of course.
With that being said, Carly, I want to give you the chance to plug your social media, your streaming, wherever people can go to listen to you, find you online. Take it away.
So you can follow me at Carly Mickeal. That's Mickeal. That's pretty much my handle for everything. If you wanna, I have one song released. It's called Nightmare. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. I think it's on YouTube as well. So you can look it up. Nightmare by Carly Mickeal. And then yeah, I'm pretty active on TikTok and Instagram. So I post a lot there. And yeah, I'm on YouTube too, but I haven't posted in a long time. So don't come for me, but
It's okay. TikTok's
um,
taking over, YouTube is like, it's
no,
in the
yeah, for
background.
sure. Yeah, I post on TikTok all the time. So definitely follow me on TikTok, Instagram. Those are like my main two that I post on. So
Cool. Well, we also post a lot on Instagram and TikTok on this podcast. If you like this conversation or this show, make sure that you follow us on Instagram or TikTok at Idle Unaired Podcast. We are also on YouTube if you want to watch these full interviews. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure that you subscribe, rate, leave a review. Thank you guys so much for listening to this aired exception. You can check out all of our interviews with unaired contestants, other aired exceptions, people behind the scenes of American Idol. We got all things American Idol for you. Carly, thank you so much for being a part of American Idol Unaired.
You are welcome, and thank you for having me. It was so fun talking to you.